A very good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode here on the Life Signatures Radio. This is a daily show on teaching, on motivating, on inspiring, on instructing these subjects of purpose, productivity, and resilience. Three critical subjects in life that anybody who wants to be successful or anybody who is successful has these three pillars going on. And right now we are in the middle of a long series which we started 2 weeks back, and we have been talking daily. 2 weeks back, we've been talking about blockades in our lives, and we are dealing with another type of a blockade. Of course, we've taken some time and dealt with one type of a blockade, which is the mental blockade. But right now, starting yesterday, we've been dealing with the spiritual blockade. I did explain to us how the spiritual can easily become a blockade, or the setup of the spiritual, so that we can understand where the blockades come in. Today, we start going deeper into that area. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Well, it's good to know what a blockade is before we can go so far. These are things that we have propped up. We have believed them as if they are facts, and in so doing, they have hindered us to be what we could be, to hinder our possibilities. Even though, by the way, there is the car you've bought, the house, you've got married, you've got nice kids, you've got curtains on your house, you've got data on your phone, you've got fuel full tank, and you have holidays twice a week, twice a month, twice a year. That could be going on, but still there is a blockade of what you could be. That's what we are addressing. So the first blockade we talked about was the mental blockade. But today, we started yesterday talking about the spiritual blockade. The spiritual blockade. What are the manifestations of a spiritual blockade? I'm going to name several, and today we're just going to look at one. Number one, lack of purpose. Purposelessness is a spiritual blockade. I know I talked about this in some episodes back, where I said that vision, I'm going to go ahead and going to go back because vision is coming up also. These things, if you don't have vision, if you don't have purpose, you are like a freeloader, like a ship on a shore, or the ship on the sea with no coxswain. It is tossed around and it ends up in whatever direction it's going to go. The waves just work on it. And that's the same thing with a man or a woman who has no definition of who they are in terms of their purpose. What are you going to do without your purpose? You cannot do nothing without purpose. Now, I've said this very many times. Sometimes we unconsciously know what our purpose is because we navigate in life through our value systems, the value systems that we have, even though we've not defined them. They help us, they guide us, and that is in those realms. It is in those realms that we find where our purpose is. But lack of purpose is where the manifestation of a spiritual blockade starts from. It is tricky to say lack of purpose, by the way, because in all due honesty, there is no one on earth, there is no human being who is purposeless, at least from the idea of the designer, the idea of the divine, the idea of the creator. There is no one who was created without a purpose. If I believe in God, if you believe in God, you cannot tell me that God allowed you to exist without you having a purpose. What kind of God would that be? What kind of God would that be to create? Have you ever, even you as a human being, have you ever made something that is purposeless? Have you ever made a cup that cannot be used? Have you ever made a computer program that is useless? Have you ever made a machine that is useless? A microphone that cannot be used? No. Everything we have created as human beings, whether individuals or companies and whatever, we have created them with a purpose. How much more about you being created by God if you do believe in God? There is no human being who was created without a purpose. Purpose is not an empirical thing. It is like eternity. It is, you cannot touch it, you cannot see it, but it is there. It is there. It is the centerpiece of life. Purpose dwells in the uniqueness of each one's heart. Who is alive? Anyone who is alive, you have purpose. It is one of the most powerful elements on the face of the earth. Success or failure are always in the realms or in the confines of purpose or lack of it. When you see a firefighter risking his life to save a doll that a young girl is crying about, it will be because of purpose. When you see businesses thrive and there is a global reach, it will be because there is purpose in there. The moment life does not pay attention to purpose, their own purpose, that is the moment that a spiritual blockade is activated. And unfortunately, this moment is pervaded all throughout. I have no idea why we don't talk about purpose in school, institutions, even institutions of higher learning. Purpose is what you were created to do. It's what I was created to do. If I have no idea what it is, chances are that I am operating under a spiritual blockade. Tell me, what am I going to do if I don't know what to do? And the problem is that we are so adept at doing. It is just that we don't have direction. We are so adept at doing. I mean, we run helter-skelter. Go in the streets today, you find people running helter-skelter all over the place. Where are you going? Why are you going where you're going? That will be purpose. At the back of it all, we should be directed, motivated, inspired, guided, moved by purpose. So if you want to make sure that you are obliterating any spiritual blockade in your life, it is probably enough for you and I to start discovering what our purpose is. God in His Word, He says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, for lack of vision. Where there is no vision, people cast off restraint. When we don't have knowledge of our vision, knowledge of our purpose, we are operating under a blockade. It is like a guy who has been destined to inherit an estate, but he doesn't know. He will never inherit as long as he is not in the know. He will never inherit it. In fact, by the way, could be passing by it every single morning on his day to a hustle. Every single morning he passes by the estate that is supposed to be his. But the fact that he does not know, he cannot access it. He cannot take his mind and obtain it. That's the same thing with our calling. The same thing with our purpose in life. If I don't know what my purpose is, I cannot attain it. If I don't know what my calling in life is, I cannot attain it. It doesn't mean that I cannot have a job. I can have a job. It doesn't mean that I cannot have a family. I can have a family. It doesn't mean that I cannot have a car. I can have a car. It doesn't mean that I cannot have a house. I can have a house. Remember, we've said that all these things can be going on, but I am under a blockade. What is a blockade? It is something that blocks me to what I could be. What I could be is in the confines of what I was meant to be. What I was called to be. That is my purpose. So if I don't know what my purpose is, then I cannot fulfill that purpose. I cannot live that purpose. The Bible tells us that we are the workmanship of God, who were created beforehand for exploits, for major things, for His purpose. What if I don't know what that purpose is? Can I say really I'm God's workmanship without knowing His purpose for my life? So if we're going to obliterate any personal blockades from our lives, we will need to take care of our purpose, and we will need to know what it is. Well, tomorrow we'll continue on that one, but until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.